visage.
Oh, it's a Hanes commercial. Is that
It's
weird?
not. It's not massage.
Nothing.
I don't know.
What?
I don't.
I thought it was massage.
Okay, but
Visage.
let me
English is
submit to you the idea that that is a French pronunciation, and the French language does not respect me, so I do not respect it.
You know, they don't respect themselves in French. Like, how many verb tenses you have is insane. Calm down.
I can't say too much about complicated grammar, because my foreign language was Latin, so
I took Latin and Greek.
nice.
To understand, like,
Move forward.
romantic language.
Romance languages, all the roots and stuff. That's why I did it too, which made me very, very good at English and science.
Yeah.
Cool. There's already people watching.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to SCNS.
Y'all were quick.
Welcome to D&D. Oh my god. I don't talk like
Everybody
that. I'm sorry.
hear us? Okay.
We
This
cannot.
is-
I'm editing that clip, by the way. It's.
This is the Learn
Well, I'm editing
Latin.
last week's, the 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
So, get rid of the lots of silence. So, sorry, we'll give you guys a good recap. So,
No, we won't.
Jason.
what?
Zoom it in.
What? Who?
I was gonna just ask him to turn the camera a little more.
Oh no, it's that camera that's the problem.
Oh, this one. Does it need to go that way or this way?
It really needs to zoom in because if it goes that way, we're going to catch cat.
Okay, well, then somebody's going to have to go over there.
Can you tell me how to zoom? Because I can't
Thank
remember.
you.
Right click on the
Give us
camera.
1 second.
Yeah. So, I probably need to.
Don't demand better from
don't
us.
try to walk around the table.
I'm not going to walk around the table.
You'll die.
It should be,
He's gonna duck under like a little gremlin.
you got the,
This is your, sessionally reminder
okay, input.
that
Do your camera.
we'd like to have a word about our sponsors.
No.
And that
okay.
word is
Go back
please.
to the first tab.
Please, if you'd like to sponsor us, shoot me an email.
Okay, drop down where it says live.
Badmoon at Super Cool Nerd Show. We are shameless. We will
No,
promote
don't change
a
it.
lot of things.
Okay.
Just so you
Do
know.
you mean this drop?
Do you work for the mob? We'll promote your business.
Configure manual.
I don't think the mob wants that.
Click the configure manual box.
Well, people don't have to know. It's just us.
Video input.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
Yep, there you go.
Figured it
I'll
out.
sit down.
This
It's
is your.
Business
Listen.
just launders the money.
Oh yeah.
It's your reminder that if you're a high school student,
Okay.
consider taking Latin.
And
If
we
your school
probably
offers
won't
it.
promote you, so don't sponsor us because I don't know
High
what's in
school
bounds
students?
for 17-year-olds. So
No,
like,
no.
just-
Don't
it's
Does it
weird.
need to come
don't
down a
pay
little
us
bit,
money when you're in
If
high
you
school.
have too much money,
Cass, will you be my
maybe
helper?
fund a film I will
Thank
make.
you very much. Down just a smidge. No, we'll back up. I think it has to be up that high because of my head.
Okay.
That's why it's there. It's fine though.
She's
Everything's
going to
Okay.
have her head held high. Wasn't even really a joke.
They get the best view of the room. They get to see
Chin
all
up,
the posters.
shoulders
and shit.
back, feet apart, huh, and straight.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We're good.
No, that was perfect.
No one saw that, and that's perfect.
That's all right.
Okay. All right, we're good now.
Hello.
I did, and I meant to tell you guys this in advance. I'd like to go around the table and you do like a 1 or 2 sentence of who your character is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to plug your socials, now is the time to do it. We're not going to do it at the end.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Bettercat. I'm the DM, and I'm all the bad guys.
Duh.
Start with Jason.
Jason.
I'm Jason. I play Alabroth Jarud, a Dragonborn cleric, and I'd like to plug supercoolnerdshow.com. New website.
Yes, live.
Go check that shit out because
Go do it.
it has
Jason
been.
worked
I know
hard.
WordPress now.
WordPress is not easy.
Tell me about it. There's a reason we haven't had a website. So yeah, I'm very happy with the work.
website.
I've had a massive amount of help from friends who do know more than me. So I appreciate all of their input in helping us bring that
As
online.
usual,
'Cause
we just waited until Jason did it himself.
it's wonderful. Yes, but it works. It's small and broken, but
it works.
still good.
Yes, just like us.
Still good.
My name's Mia. I play Ronnie.
Who is a what from where?
I am a ranger and an air ganassi from
Yellowstone. That's
Islands,
right.
Sorry. Islands of some kind?
The Lost Islands.
yeah, from the Lost Islands, specifically the one that you just named that I'm pulling up in DMs. Delistona.
I realized the second I said from where that put pressure on you to find it in the notes because I hadn't given it to you that long ago.
Hello, I'm Octavia. I'm a monk of the Order of the Kestrel Dawn. I'm from Vea, which is really all you need to know. Yeah? High elf. High elf monk.
No, I just meant that's all you need to know. It's so Octavia.
Yeah.
Like, that sums it up. And you're fine. Just fine.
Everything's on fire, but it's fine. See, I am Cora, and I play the human Brana. He is from a small village named Trito, and I've forgotten how to do an accent, so I had to stop there for a second.
It happens.
Irish. I can tear. Over tear. I got it. A leprechaun.
But it's alright, by the time we get further into it, I will have it better. There we go, found it.
By the end, I will have accidentally picked up that accent.
Man, I'm trying to pick it up to play relatives of people, and I'm garbage at imitating your guys' accents.
If you want to follow me on any social media, you can follow me on Corodono Art on Twitter and Instagram.
Last session, most of you didn't hear a lot of it, and I don't recall a lot of it because of some issues I had. But our adventuring party had met each other the session before, gotten into a little adventure today, and been falsely accused of murder. So they started to work through and try to unravel the events around what happened, and started to try to figure out who they could call to witness on their behalf of where they actually were, versus where a changeling with a lot of mischief might have pretended to be them and acted as they did not act. The session ended when the murdered tavern owner, his wife, had come to them and yelled at them a bit, and then slammed a couple of drinks and told them they had a few minutes to try and convince her, but she had seen them do it. And that's kind of where we left off. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so Soraya has, she's taken the 2 drinks with the energy of downed 2 giant things of ale, and she finishes, and she just told you that you guys have 10 minutes, and as you're trying to kind of figure out how to kick off this conversation, you look up and you see her eyes have tears in them, and she's just like, I don't understand, and I don't get it, and it doesn't make sense. I saw you hit him, but you all were there, all of you. I don't know how you prove that you weren't. I saw you.
There is some magic at work here. I don't even know how to say it, but there is a magic that I don't understand, and it wasn't us.
She looks at you for a second, snaps her fingers, and all of a sudden you see an Alabroth clone that's quite a bit shorter than he is. And then she's like, I don't like this. And she switches again. She's like, I know about the magic. Don't talk down to me.
I don't.
I know what the limits are. I saw
don't.
all of you at once. I can't be taller. I can't do more than one person at a time.
Oh.
I do not want. I will have justice for what happened. I have no desire to punish the wrong people. But I have no idea what case you're trying to make.
We share that desire. We just know where we were, and it wasn't here. That's why we're trying to figure out how we could have been replicated from where we were, which was out in, what's it called again?
The old
You're
at the Blade Dance.
old marketplace.
Or the Reaper's Dance, and then you went to the old marketplace.
Yeah. We went to the old marketplace after the Reaper's Dance. We weren't here. So we're trying to figure out how someone could have done that, why, and where they are.
You know, before I met Rock, my parents had told me that those that you only find in the East have evil in their blood. And that they didn't approve of Rock. He's half-orc. And they didn't believe that he was a good person. But I believe... But he was a good person. So, wish I could give you the benefit of the doubt. You guys are some freaks that I've never seen people like you. But I hear that. And she just looks at Alabroth and she's like, when I see you, and I replay that moment, my parents' words ring in my ears.
You know magic. Is there anything that we would be able to do to...
The tavern door opens, and in walks a halfling woman that you recognize.
The one with the baby?
With her son. And Soraya glances past you at her, and she goes, oh, Marita. And she walks over and she gives her a hug. And she basically like sits down, just puts her arms around her, and she starts crying for a minute. And the woman has the baby kind of at her side, and she just kind of includes the baby in the hug a little bit. And after a second, she pulls back and she looks at the baby and she goes, Ryan, how are you? And Ryan goes, pretty good. You missed my my education celebration, and you guys realize that it's hard to scale how old a halfling baby is. Because size throws you.
That's fair.
I guess roll me history.
Written history?
No.
Oh, it's still pretty good.
That's not going to be a good one for me.
18?
18,
17.
17,
12.
12.
8.
Everyone who's not Aldebrov knows that halflings learn multiple traits. Usually, they try a few out. They reach adulthood about 20. They live for between 1 and 2 centuries. And that they're tend to be very curious. They tend to live within communities, but have a large, like, halfling thing that kind of like a burrow of their own. But interact to be helpful. And they tend to be pretty cheery about new people, they tend to be accepting. And, yeah, so education celebrations is like, they take all the kids that turn 6, and they start teaching them, like, the beginnings of one of their trades. They'll learn several. The kids can already, like, read and write, like, very basic. So it's about where human children would tend to be about that age. But the 6th is a big deal. And, Soraya is like, I know, I missed it. I'm so sorry. Hang on. And she goes back, in the kitchen, like, kind of rushes, and you hear the back door close. And while you're like, you hear it open again, and she comes back, and she has something in her hand that looks like a little present. Roll perception check.
Wasted it. Natural 20 for 25.
17. 8. Jason?
16.
Okay. People, you see a present.
Wow.
Look out there, brother. You guys see a book wrapped in a ribbon. But Octavia, you see the cover of the book from the angle that you're sitting on. And the cover of the book is drawn by a gifted child, it looks like, at drawing. It's called Friends Everywhere. And it has, like, a ton of different, like, species, like, or races. It's clearly something that was made probably by Pebbles and Soraya. And, with a natural 20, you notice there's a dragonborn on there with blue skin. Almost as if it was covered over. And there might have been a different color underneath that, and they were like, hard pass. And Soraya walks forward, and she hands Ryan the book, and he takes the ribbon off, and he just starts, like, digging through it right away. And he says, Pebbles and I haven't gone together in like a week, like a month, a long time. And Soraya's like, maybe he's around. He was in the kitchen. Go look in the kitchen. And you guys briefly wonder why he wasn't out there. But she did kind of yell at you guys for talking to him.
Yeah.
So Ryan, he just kind of toddles, like, a little bit unsure, confidently towards the kitchen. You don't
Like
hear any banging, so...
Half-grown corgi, like, the lights are now off.
I was just so fascinated what I thought, like, so how small did they start? And oh, do any of you speak halfling?
I think so.
I definitely
Nope.
don't.
I don't.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So Soraya almost seems like she'd forgotten that you guys were there for a minute, and And she's like, that would be good for Pebbles. He's been not great. And the woman that she called Marita is like, yeah, that's why I came. Although Gary called me, or he came by and asked me to be here to verify something. And Soraya turns back and kind of just looks at you guys. She said, this is Marie. Anyone? You had requested that she come to the bar.
Oh, yes.
To confirm
Oh, that's right.
if she scared the child.
Good lady, would you be able to account for our whereabouts the other day?
I saw you.
I'm very easily seen. Thank you.
And you know that she had just like thrown a glance back over her shoulder and smiled at you and kept walking. She had seemed to be hustling to get there, and she hadn't slowed down. She hadn't really made eye contact with any of the rest of you. And you feel yourself start to be like, great. And she said, you know, the Blade Dance was very good this year. I was worried we'd miss it. So we were in a hurry. I didn't stop and look around. She said, but, well, Brian drew this, and she takes out something from a satchel in her side, and she shows it to Soraya, who looks up at her and is like, where were you during the Blade Dance? And she goes, I can't really see over people. We were at the front. And Soraya goes, and after that? And she said, well, you know, when the performance was finished, we went home. And Soraya looks, and she goes, but you never saw all of them. And Soraya goes, no. And, Murray goes, no. And Soraya begins sobbing. Like, just crumples on the floor. And Murray takes what she had and she shows you. And it's somebody with blue skin. A tall, green dragon thing. Somebody with white eyes. It's somebody who it looks like there wasn't a ton of effort put into.
Blonde?
Wearing orange and gray. And she said, Marie says, he'd been practicing drawing. He'd never seen, they like to draw like friends of all types. And Soraya's like, still kind of falling apart, and she's like, you got there before the dance started? And Marie says, yeah. And Soraya goes, before the music? She said, yeah. And Soraya says, you know, when you hit rock, as he fell to the ground, I heard the music start up. I heard it start, and you were here. I don't know what this means.
Good lady, we aren't sure either. But
What I was gonna ask earlier, I don't know a lot about magic. I don't have magic to any real extent. Is there a way for you to, like, see the past or read our minds and know what we were doing?
She
So
said
that
you
we
couldn't
can-
have been both places.
Mm-mm.
And she kind of like jumps a little bit onto the bar, and she stands up, and she takes her hand, and you're at the bar, and she makes sure that you're solid, like all the way through, that you don't have an illusion on top of you somehow.
Who's she doing this to?
To you. You're
Oh.
so tall.
She has to stand on
I
something.
don't move because I'm.
She's not very aggressive about reaching out. It's very like hesitant, and it's just like checks, and she's like, no one, if there are two of the same group, the one who did the crime is probably the ones who are impersonating the other ones. I think
So that
you
they
could
won't
have.
be
I
the
don't
ones to
see
get in
why you
trouble.
would. Who
Or why
killed
we would.
Rocket? Why?
We would like to get to the bottom of that as well. And afforded the opportunity, we will find who it was and bring them to justice.
Is there someone who knows magic very, very well in this town? I know basically nothing.
She's like, my most impressive ability is the ability to change. And that's the maximum power that I have. And I am a marvel here.
No.
You guys are kind of like, she's like, there are healers in neighboring towns. There are two within a day's ride of here, but they tend to circulate and try and make rounds. I do not know where they are now. It's kind of a problem if we need one of them right away, usually. If there was very impressive magic in this town, we could have saved him. Just like, because he when he fell, his body tried to get back up. Roll in just a flat intelligence check.
I am of the dumb.
I am also of the dumb, but I did roll a nat 20.
I rolled a...
Jason, I'm going to give you advantage on this because you would be more likely to know this.
Okay. Well, I rolled I got an 18 the first one, but let's see if
I got a 9.
let's go with that 18.
I got a 21 with a nat 20.
How?
Let's go with no.
You have to roll it.
Oh no, yeah, I did.
Okay,
7.
that's fine.
Yeah, straight intelligence, that's an 18. So
You have seen what she talks about with half-orcs. They have a remarkable ability when they seem to go down to all of a sudden it's like they're back at 1% or so.
second.
You've seen their endurance be called relentless. And, Soray's like, I don't know, the poison on the blade or something, maybe, I don't know, but he tried to rally. And I'm trying to be grateful for the few minutes that we had. I always knew he loved me. And Pebbles. But I feel like it was important to him to say it again. But I also wonder what kind of monster needed him to die and not just be down. like, I'll bring you. Someone will bring you food. I need some time.
Yes.
And she doesn't wait for any kind of confirmation. She just, she goes, Marie, and she just walks back, and Marie, like, instantly follows her. And she kind of gives you guys a half, like, hang in there, this is really hard type of look.
Understandable.
Oh, as she leaves, I look and just, what are next steps? This trail gets colder the longer we do not act.
We're under house arrest. I don't think we have any next steps right now. At least not that we can take other than around the room.
Well,
We have at least proven that we're not the ones that did it to the widow. So that there is a very good sign.
Since she was the one who saw us, that's...
We might not be under house arrest anymore.
Star
as
Witness is probably going to be changing their account of what happened.
So, Carter, I think, is the team that's on right now. Carter's still in the room, and he's like,
Hello. Sorry.
how much of that did you hear, sir?
oh, that's not her call, and it's not mine.
Yeah.
This
Understand.
will be cleared up, and we try to move quickly through processes. Your status currently, just so you know, is house arrest.
Would it be possible to get that status changed with this new evidence?
It is inevitable, but it may take a little bit of time. We will try to move through this process. Jeffrey has to approve this. Doesn't have to go to trial or anything, but Jeffrey has to. He needs to do the paperwork part of it to send back to Bayer.
That checks out.
He's like,
He checked us in. I'm sure he needs to check
I
us
think
out.
in between, any time in between this afternoon and tomorrow morning at the latest, your items will be returned to you, and you can expect to be on your way if that's what you want, or return to a guest status if that's what you want. And also your goal, I don't know what all you get. The things will be returned to you in full.
Cool.
He's like something about a hammer or like a big weapon or an axe or something.
I'm going to need that back.
Yeah, it's the only thing in our evidence room. So
Fantastic. Now, Kat,
yeah.
if you will remind me, we, I believe we saw scorch marks next to the door going into the kitchen that were radiant. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
something like guiding bolt had been
Yeah, I
cast.
think so.
Okay. So we knew it was a bard or a holy
I know
person.
it was in the kitchen.
But we knew that there was magic in the kitchen. It
You
seemed
knew
low
that it was a
level.
holy spell.
Holy spell.
Like,
Yeah,
that's really the extent.
yeah. And we knew that there was magic in the kitchen. Did Soraya just run into the kitchen, or did she run upstairs?
No, she went outside.
She went outside.
She needed like space, and
Okay.
there's an attitude that they've had about their kids. It's clear that their kids. This isn't the first time they've been in a room by themselves.
Yes.
Their kids are fine. They're not concerned, and the kids aren't concerned. They don't know where their moms are.
All right.
So like, you're not that worried about it.
Should we tell Carter about the radiant damage in the kitchen?
Carter's like, I heard that. I understand none of it. You should tell Jeffrey about it.
But Jeffrey's not here, correct?
You have to speak to him before you leave.
Ah, yes.
So
Could we go to him?
Can he?
Under
no,
your
because
guard, of
I
course.
have no authority to let you leave at all.
I thought Carter was the head.
My orders are to maintain your house arrest. But I understand. I promise you, at the absolute latest, it will be tomorrow morning, and it may be today.
Understandable. We understand.
After a couple minutes, and while you're having this conversation, you hear the back door, it creaks on its hinges, and you hear a creaking noise again. And someone that you've seen kind of around, I think maybe was there the night you got in. It's like, it looks like maybe It's like a 16, 17-year-old, like, dwarf young woman. She's got, like, a little bit of, like, a 5 o'clock shadow. But she's, like, eye makeup, like, is just playing and just being her. And, you know, dwarfs grow a lot of body hair, and all of this seems in bounds, or maybe there's a change. It doesn't matter. Like, but you've seen her around. She comes out and she's like, they told me to make lunch. And she just walks back into the kitchen and you hear stuff start to happen. You guys are alone. Carter's like, for me too. And she's like, yes. No food for you. I never liked you. That creep you hang out with. And, like, you guys realize that you haven't seen who his partners, Ronnie or
Remy.
Remy?
Yeah.
Remy and Carter are the night guards, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
Rory
Rory
and
and
So
David.
this hasn't been Carter. This has been Rory.
Rory.
Because it's
Oh, okay.
daytime.
And then David
Okay.
David is his boss, I think.
No, they're just partners. Two
Oh, okay.
teams.
Yeah, because Carter was the head guard.
Yeah, you've been talking
Of the
to
night
Rory.
shift.
Then. Carter got off. That's my bad.
So the shift happened while we were talking, and
Yeah,
So-
just magic. You
Yeah.
can't tell them apart, even though those aren't the brothers. But yeah.
I'm gonna go. You said the dwarf. She went into the kitchen.
Mhm.
I'm gonna kind of gently knock on the door. Say, do you need any help in there?
She looks at you and just laughs and is like, sit down.
Okay.
Like, it's clear that she doesn't love people in the kitchen,
Sorry.
but she's not mad about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
She's just like,
Or it doesn't matter. Okay. Sorry. I'll just kind of stop at her and sit down.
she said, you may have a round if you like, and you can serve that.
Sure. I'll go get. I don't recognize any of this garbage. I've never been in a kitchen like this. I'm gonna go.
Nothing is labeled. There are groupings of things that are kind of like each other.
I'm gonna.
Various liquids, but there'll be like one with a liquid. It's either the same thing in two different bottles that they're both open and working on, or they're different things. You have no idea.
I'm gonna go start smelling stuff. See if I can recognize one of the scents. Do I need to?
It all smells alcoholic.
Okay.
Make a perception check.
Wait.
Let's go.
Octavia, what are you looking for?
Drink.
Hmm?
Drink.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm serving
Oh, okay.
drinks.
Proceed.
Thank you.
no, but it might as well.
10 total.
You smell like one of them. You smell that you feel like you You feel like you recognize the dark ale because
It's
you've
dark.
been around it a little, and it's a pretty strong smell.
Yeah.
And it takes you. You spend the next 5 to 6 minutes being like, I've got this. I've got this.
Yeah.
And as you're about to make your most educated guess, you see the young dwarven woman comes out, plate on her head, one in each hand,
Like a
and then
witch's.
one on the crook of her arm. And she sees the look on your face, which is very much a, I don't like this alcohol smell. And she immediately puts the plates on the bar that's like here, and sets them all down with remarkable fluidity. And she's like, I wondered. And she comes back around, and she let's see what she does on this. She's confident, but not always super competent at everything. She serves all of you like a lighter honey mead. And she's like, you guys aren't, doesn't do anything, right?
I don't think so.
I mean, it tastes good.
She's like, it's very hard to poison dwarves, and we know that humans can get poisoned,
No, I think
and elves can get poisoned. We don't know how that happens, so we always double check.
no. Honey should be fine.
Just like alcohol is poison by nature, I
Fairly
guess.
resistant to poison.
Technically.
I'm
Okay.
not.
We'll find out very quickly.
Yeah, so she serves you all
Just-
around
I literally
like
spit it.
a lighter honey mead. And she goes, "You're a lot of troublemakers. But apparently not as evil as, I don't know what's going on." She's like, "And I don't care." She walks back into the kitchen. Then she walks back out and she goes, "Plates." And she hands out, she's made you guys like kind of like a generic like shepherd's pie kind of, or like pot pie kind of thing. It's got a like pastry crust and some filling of some sort that's, it smells decent.
I've not seen this dish.
It's good.
It's quite good.
It smells delicious. I can't see.
It looks okay. It tastes really good. Like, it's a very solidly made. It's kind of interesting that she's managed to just be like, this will work for you guys and this will work for you guys, but sure. And you hear her kind of laughing and talking with boys in the kitchen, and she comes out and she's like, "I forgot about mine." She pours herself a very similar stout, very large ale, and she's like, she looks at it and she's like,
I want some of that.
"Don't have anywhere else to be today." And kind of like just takes it back with her, and you guys are kind of left by yourself for the moment, and you hear, except for Rory, and Rory's like, "Cinda!" And she goes, "Oh, I forgot, get yourself one." And he, pretty comfortable, walks behind the bar and grabs something for himself. It's something that looks like, you don't know, you have no idea. Like, it's not one of the, like, 2 or 3 things that you've seen. And he's like, "This is the high dollar stuff, I don't usually get this."
Well, now that we're alone, so I'm
Rory
clearly
like,
perturbed,
consciously
though.
kind of walks, like, gives you space. He has to stay here, but he doesn't have to
Hover.
Monitor
in the same
everything.
way that he did before.
Yeah.
Friends, I find that we were so easily framed for this crime, just very distressing. What are our next steps on this?
Unless they're around the room where we don't have next steps yet.
We're currently at a standstill.
But we might as well plan for the future. That's what my mentor always said. So, I don't know. Probably once we get out of house arrest, we go back to the old marketplace, yes?
Perhaps we could ask the widow if anything else was taken besides money.
Yes. Some identifier.
If she's
Don't
feeling
you
up to
have
talking.
a mentor who's in danger?
Oh no. Yes, I do. I can't.
And
You
someone
recall that you last message said that she was going
She
to
was going to meet.
in Strasses, the capital.
Oh, look at that.
150 miles from here.
More
But I
shape-shifting.
don't. There's no way for me to message her. There's no way for me to get to her. I don't know these lands, and I cannot leave this town with just.
Even
she
if
may not have committed a murder.
even if we could, wasn't it too far for us to get there in time anyway?
Yes, she's meeting. I think today, tomorrow.
You got the message, I think,
Tomorrow.
today, so tomorrow.
Yeah.
As you guys are talking, Ronnie, you always hear the wind around you.
Yeah.
And for just a second, for no particular reason, you kind of flash back to a conversation that you and your dad had once, where you recall that he said that your mother spoke on the wind to him when they were dating, basically. your dad's not great with words. And you'd asked what that meant. And he'd struggled to convey what it actually sounded like, and he couldn't. You hear the wind around you all the time. And sometimes it's almost like the wind is whispering at you. Almost. Like you hear the whoosh. It's almost like a voice that's too far away to hear. And sometimes when the wind blows things around, you hear like almost little lifelike murmurs, but there's never been anything close to any words. And you always
Anything
try to
comprehensible.
hear, but it's not even like something you're about to hear. It's just kind of that. And as Octavia continues to talk, the sound of the wind starts to pick up around you until it gets louder and louder and louder. And then it starts to, it drowns out the voices around you. And you start kind of look around, alarmed, I imagine,
Yeah.
to see the reaction of those around you. And they don't seem to have noticed.
But do we notice that Ronnie is noticing something?
Ronnie, as of yet, there's nothing that's happened. And no, you don't notice yet. Like, he has not been, like, gone in his head for more than just a few seconds. But you see them continue, and it's like you're looking at them almost from far away. And then the wind is, like, deafening around you. His loud noises. And all of a sudden, as clear as day, you hear a voice. And it doesn't sound like whispers, and it doesn't sound like murmurs. It goes, "Go!" And as you sit there, just in astonishment, the wind all of a sudden disappears, and the kitchen is in the north of the building, and there are windows, 3 windows on the other 3 sides, facing out of the tavern, little windows with shutters, right? All the windows in the south and all the windows in the east, the shutters fly open and crash. And all of you are startled by that. And you find yourself in your head again as Rory goes, "Whoa!"
Did y'all hear that?
Yes, they just flew open and made a big.
I'm sorry?
I beg your pardon?
I may have missed some of what you were saying.
I was talking about my mentor. He always used to tell me that I need to be prepared.
Oh,
And
okay, cool. So, the wind got so loud that I couldn't hear anything, and then I heard it was like I could barely see y'all. Like the wind was so loud I could barely see you. And then someone said go. And the crash.
I cast Detect Magic.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. There's magic around Ronnie anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like his ring for the most part, but also just an aura a little bit. And you guys can roll checks if you want to for why that is.
Technically half magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems logical to me. Not that I can see anything.
Is that going to be, what check is that going to be?
Probably either, for you, it could be religion or arcana. Probably arcana.
I don't know if
Arcana or history, like it's weird. It's just because you're half magical creature.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
don't
I'll
know
go
if
for
y'all would know that.
Arcana, it's 12.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. That means it's 5.
Okay.
Does that help?
The patterns you see seem tied up in the breeze, like, and it's just kind of a faint glow from everywhere, normally. But right now it is glowing very brightly. but there's nothing else new that sets off with detect magic. By the way, you can now use the benefits of the thaumaturgy burst of air that throws open shutters if you ever want to. You gain the ability for the breeze part of thaumaturgy.
Cool.
Some of this is very hard to put in D&D Beyond.
But I can tell that it originated from Ronnie.
You can tell that whatever effect remains is solely on Ronnie. Because the shutters aren't glowing. And there's no other presence that's glowing. And
What is it called?
what's normally faint around is very strong in a way that wasn't last time you cast detect magic on when the party was around.
Has something like this ever happened to you before?
Did you just point at your face?
Mm-hmm.
He can't see.
He can.
What?
Excuse me?
No.
He can.
If
you
you
can.
roll a
That was-
performance or deception check and the rest of you roll an insight.
Me included?
No.
Okay.
You seem to have it figured out, which I kind of had before.
Yeah.
23!
15.
What was yours?
17.
I did something!
Albert, you were confused. You know,
I'm sorry, but you say our friend can see.
you had this moment where you're like, this doesn't add up. Wait.
How do you fight? Wait. What? Hold on. What's wrong with your face?
Well, that's a bit of a rude question, don't you think?
You are smirking.
This is not from him, this is from me.
Whatever. You are... Something's wrong here.
Alright.
Soraya walks back in.
I was about to cast detect magic.
No, you. There is a faint, very faint essence of divine magic. That is, it's like an aura that's not directly on them, is kind of there, but almost makes you wonder if you really saw it. And
Well,
it
no.
seems to kind of like pulse at weird erratic rates. Does that seem about right? Like where
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, oh, it flipped for a second and then it's gone. And you're just like, you've never seen either of the two things you just saw with Detect Magic, and you're like, what the hell? This doesn't happen with Dragonborn. I've never seen a goblin do that, and drow, we try and avoid the drow.
Yeah.
It's just very confused. And Soraya walks back in. And she doesn't mean to interrupt everything that happens.
Does she notice the tension?
The woman has a presence. And you feel like often people's attention and their focus changes when she walks in a room. It's a very like charismatic thing that's not based around who she is or what she says or how sure she is when she speaks. It's just she's got that thing. She should have acted on stage.
Yep.
And after a minute, Marie walks back in the room. She looks at all of you and she goes, "It's nice to meet you." And she's right on her hip. And she's being polite, but she's still clearly concerned about Soraya. And the woman speak quietly for a minute, and she gives her a hug, and she kind of throws a wave up at you, and she leaves. And Soraya's like, right. I'm not sure what happens now. She seems a lot calmer, but like.
Kind of side eye Tyranna. I'm like,
If it's all the same to you, we would like to get to the bottom of this.
I don't know what that means.
We would- whoever was responsible for your husband's demise,
Will die.
We
That
would
will
like
happen.
to help find them.
we would like to bring them to justice.
She's like, my doubts. She's like, you came in and you were a green dragonborn, but you were wielding the symbol of Bahamut.
Yes.
She's like, I need justice. She's like, I want to kill them myself, but Pebbles. And like, there's so much in that word. Like, there's so much responsibility, there's so much love, there's so much determination in him having somebody for as long as he needs.
I reach out and place my hand on her shoulder.
She like pulls back a tiny bit and then like
And
she leans
I
forward.
drop to one knee and lower my head and ask her, for my order, I wish to champion this for you.
She's like, she looks up and she's tearing up again, but it's different. And she goes, I was going to beg you in the name of Bahamut to do it.
There is no need to beg. I will be your champion for this cause.
And she looks behind you at Rory and she goes, Rory, and he goes, I sent David to find him, I don't know. And she goes, okay. She's like, did they tell you what happens next? Like, she's like, we're trying to find Jeffrey, and
we are awaiting clearance for that.
she's like, he's never that far right now.
I'm kind of trying to stay kneeling to be smaller.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best.
Hang on, let me see if she picks that up. She picks up on that, and she's like, she touches your shoulder, and she's like, champions never kneel for long.
Aww.
And kind of gestures back towards your seat.
I'll take the clue.
And she's going to be like, I have something. I'm not sure where it is before you all leave. And you feel like you've lifted a weight off of her. Which would be better if you also felt like you could go on your way now. But like, she goes, did you ate?
Mm-hmm.
Did you eat?
Yes.
She's like, okay. Without asking, she fills up 2 more large things of ale, and then she downs both of them again. She's like, you know, my younger days, I used to all the time. And she's like, whatever, I don't do this every day. I get to do it today. And a few minutes later, Pebbles walks out, and he goes, my mommy said I could talk to you if I want. Kind of looks at his mom, and she just smiles at him, and like for a minute she seems like she's okay as she watches him. Like, he looks a lot like his dad, and she's proud of him. She loves who he is. It's clear that they have a very close relationship. They draw together and they encourage each other, and you know, it seems very pure. And she's like, yes, you find friends everywhere, right? And Pebbles kind of like, yeah. And she picks him up and sets him on the bar, and he's about she's pretty big for her, but she's pretty strong. She sets him on the bar, and then puts like a little pack beside him when he's drawing.
Oh.
And you notice that, roll a perception. Oh, just Ronnie, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
22.
You notice that he keeps looking at you and looking back down, not out of shyness, but you can guess what he's drawing. You can't see it from here. But he's, with the 22, you see the breeze moves around you, so still life you could never be. So, you see some of as he tries to figure out how to do that on a static piece of paper. But, I mean, this is clearly relatively common for him. And, a couple times, Sarah walks over and is like, oh, that's nice, you're doing well. I don't know how to do that either. And she offers all of you another round. She's like, they're looking. I don't know how long it will be. And I don't know what to do in the meantime to make this less this. And she was like, well, and she takes out, she glances at all of you, and then she takes out a big jug, and she goes, this is honey mead. And you don't know why everyone is like that one. But you wonder if, the triple X jugs are a lot to handle.
Yeah, I got that moonshine.
This might be your fault. It might be easier to handle.
We're drinking Angry Orchard because nobody wants to offer us makers.
I'm gonna get Bud Light because
Bye.
I don't know
I
what
don't
you
know
guys
what people
drink.
will like, except that the honey mead is tasty in some ways.
It's not the worst thing in the
people
world.
like it, and it doesn't smell like something that shouldn't exist.
It doesn't smell like gross.
Yeah.
Moldy bread.
But she's like, anyway, she's like, I have things I need to do. They will know where, and she glances at Rory, and Rory's like, yeah, it's
Of
fine.
course.
And, she's like, okay. And, her and Pebbles,
Yeah.
walk out, and you hear the second door close, and Rory's like, her house is I don't know how far you throw a rock, but it's
I
right
got one
there.
pretty far.
She won't be hard to find. Jeffrey is hard to find. And then he kind of withdraws. He had been standing close, and he moved back, and now he has kind of a spot where he's kind of almost sitting, slouching by the stairs to the upstairs. It's like he could probably hear some of what you're saying, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And he sits there and he takes out a whetstone and he starts sharpening his sword because
What else?
he doesn't have an iPad. So.
Yeah. Ye old iPad.
And you guys are
Can't
all
play
of a
the
sudden
bubble game for Rick and Morty.
just the four of you again.
How are we going to find?
No. That's not what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
Rana, as
So?
you're sitting there, all of a sudden, the room around you is gone. Everything closes around you. This has never happened.
I don't like that.
You've had some moments, but they've always been relegated to your sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you start to realize that they're about to ask you stuff and you don't want to go into it, and, you're surrounded by darkness. Hang on, I have to find this section. And then all of a sudden your eyes open and you are in your home
My home.
with your sister, in basically the middle of a memory that you have. Okay?
Okay, so it's a memory.
It's a memory, and we're going to RP this out a little bit.
Oh, boy.
Okay? And let me see. As it starts, she goes, does she even know?
Huh?
Does she have a name yet? It's okay if she doesn't. I knew this was like on the spot. It doesn't matter that much.
I wrote it down,
Okay.
but I cannot tell you
That's
what it
fine.
is.
It's not a huge deal. She says, no one is trying to pressure you. Like, you guys didn't argue a ton, but she made fun of you some, and you guys are siblings. And she's like, no one is trying to put pressure on you.
Are you quite sure about that?
Yes. They believe in you. They're not I understand why you're frustrated, but they're not trying to do that.
Have you been around when Ma and Dad have been talking to me privately?
She's like, I don't want to know what Mom and Dad discuss privately. I try and avoid that. Your parents love each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean like by themselves. Lord, no. I mean when they're trying to have private conversations with me. They're pushing me closer and closer to be in this more divine thing.
They're not trying to push you, they believe you are. They're not trying to tell you what to be. They're telling you what they think you already are. The whole village is not trying to tell you what you have to do.
Maybe not, but sure feels that way when I walk down the street and I have old ladies coming up to me and asking if I can talk to their dead husbands or give them a blessing to make their days better.
You know, everyone feels a little invaded in an environment where everyone knows everyone. They all know you. They're just asking.
Doesn't really feel like they're asking. It feels more like they're demanding it. And I get it. I do. This is something that's not happened here before. At least to my knowledge.
She's like, it doesn't happen the same way. You think old people don't ask me for things every day? There are 700, 800 people here.
I mean this in the absolute most sincere way, with no cattiness to it.
She's like, I'm not jealous of anything you have.
No. You don't understand what I've been having to go through since I was like 5.
She's like, I don't understand. And I understand exactly. You're very different. And you're not different at all. I don't understand. Sure, anonymity would feel fine for a minute. But your life isn't so hard just because people know you here. They know each other.
If I'm meant for some divine purpose, it's not going to manifest itself for the betterment of this village. We're so minor and insignificant, so why put me here?
She goes, I understand that. There's a right way and a wrong way to seek what's next for you. And the wrong way is to not leave any kind of explanation for Mom and Dad. And she walks out of the room. The darkness closes in around you again. And all of a sudden, in the darkness, out of the darkness, you hear, wait, I know you. And your whole body stiffens. You freeze, and your heart starts pounding in your chest because you're like, I'm not in Triton. I left Triton. This shouldn't be happening. How is this happening? How? How do they know me? And the voice continues. It goes, I know you. You killed my son. And then another voice, a little closer, goes, I know you. You burned my fields. How will I make it through the winter? And then you hear a little further away, I know you. And a child's voice say, did you bring my mommy back like you said? I know you. I know you. I know you. I know you. And then you're walking completely alone. Silence immediately comes over you. And you cannot see. You hear the familiar comforting tap, tap, tap that you make with your quarterstaff. And as you're walking along, there's nothing in front of you, nothing in front of you, nothing in front of you. And then your quarterstaff hits something with a little bit of give that is very close to you that you should have felt before you got here. It wasn't there a split second ago. And your head jerks up and the darkness fades. And what is about 2 feet from your face is a blur. And you kind of squint and it slowly pulls into crystal clear focus. It's not a reflection, it's exactly you. It is exactly you. Make a perception check with advantage.
We're gonna put you way back. Oh, of course I waste that. Okay. 24.
They look just like you. And you kind of like, you look from head to toe. And you see finer clothes than you wear. Your parents make very fine clothes. But you, with intent, did not wear anything crazy.
Yeah.
Out, right? But there's little spatters on them. And you see across the faces like a freckling of like blood. And as your gaze continues downwards, because you're wearing dark clothes,
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell around the middle, but like you look at the quarterstaff, you glance at the other hand, and with that roll, there's a dagger in, I don't know, you're right-handed, so probably your quarterstaff is in your left hand, and it's in the right hand. And it's a design that you've never seen outside of the family heirloom that your sister carries. You don't think there's another one like it. It is your sister's dagger, and it is dripping with blood.
And it's in my vision's hand or me?
It's in your vision's hand. You see a heavy gold pouch. You see brand new boots. And you feel yourself start to seize up. The make of these clothes does look like your parents. Where were you just before this? And you find yourself just frozen. And the creature in front of you has had like their head down and not moved. And as you feel fear start to seize you, the head jerks up and looks right at you. And a smile slowly comes over your blood-spattered face of the vision in front of you. And they say, I know you. And the last thing you see is this thing wink at you. And darkness instantly clouds all of your vision once again. And you hear a voice that is familiar to you, that has been a familiar, consistent voice in dreams, go, is that you? And then you're back in the room with your friends. You guys make an insight check.
I still had detect magic going. 10 minutes.
You know that thing that like pulses and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
It is all of a sudden it's not pulsing at all. It's very strong.
That
And
was a
it's very
shit
steady and it's glowing a little bit brighter and it's clearly divination magic. Insight checks.
8.
For the insight, like you get the divination thing, you don't get a lot. You're kind of distracted by that.
19.
19.
You guys see like
And I have proficiency.
they weren't gone for more than a few seconds, but you see a like as if someone woke in a cold sweat from a nightmare.
What?
You good?
Oh, will be. Give me just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I can explain. Just
I go ahead. He's using magic.
not on my own volition. Did not try.
You didn't try to use magic.
I meant the one that you're actively using.
Aye. All right.
I would say the eyes glow a bit brighter than the rest, and that was you.
All right. I'm not blind.
We're gonna take a break right here.
Let me change your notes for your character. Guess who's not blind?
I just realized there's not going to be a better place to take a break, and I love that. Like,
Also,
I'm
if you, get
not
the
blind.
if you get the opportunity, check out the D&D overlay that's now on our Twitch channel.
Dope.
It's got our characters
I
on
like
there.
it.
Yeah.
Slate is going up. We will be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, just like a few minutes. Potty break, drinks.
Sorry, don't forget to mute Mike's.
Oh, here, let me go over here.
Don't forget to
So check it out.
Mute the
If
mic.
you stand Guess who's back? Back again.
We are back.
Tell some friends.
And action! Too late for that? Okay. So, we're gonna jump right back in. When we left off, I was sitting there kind of feeling a bit called out by everything in their life.
Everything
All
and
at
everyone.
once.
Everything and everyone.
And the questions around the eyesight and everything had kind of
Gasp.
Come to a
hit
head.
max capacity. And you had started to launch into an explanation. You said, I'm not blind.
I'm not blind. For starters. These are my eyes. This is what they look like. And I have been using that to get people, generally, to leave me alone. I am not human, though I do look it. I am what's called an Asamar. I am half divine. And as you can imagine, means that everyone bothers me for the smallest of problems. Bless this crop so that it'll grow, though that's not how it works. Can you send a message to my dead grandma, though I have no connection to their god? And on and on and on. Just became really hard to enjoy my life. And people started mistaking me for blind instead of divine, so I rolled with it. The magic that you saw was a part of my condition, as I call it. I get visions that I cannot control when they come. I had quite a vision just now. It's quite a traumatic one, and I'd rather not go into too many of those details. It's quite personal on that one.
You get visions
I?
The eye of me.
from. Do you know where they come from?
From the research I have done, they come from the angel that I was given divinity from.
Okay, so definitely not the same thing. That
You guys can roll it's an intelligence check to see if you know anything about this.
Whoa!
Pretty sure
It's pretty high DC. It's not that likely.
Ooh, oh,
No.
fuck that.
You never heard of Asimov.
pretty sure.
You might have
Oh, wait,
heard
do
of
I?
it.
Get advantage.
You
Oh,
do.
wait. Oh, crap. Do I get advantage? Because, no.
I mean, you're very religious.
You gave me
13.
advantage last time.
13 is the highest.
Oh, because you had detect magic up. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
don't-
Roll
Yeah,
that.
go ahead.
Okay, that was straight investigation or intelligence.
It's
14.
No, nobody. Like, you've heard of them, and you've heard something about angels or celestials or gods or something. You don't know how practically they come into existence. You don't know if they're telling you that their mom or their dad had sex with an angel. You don't know. Okay.
I do believe the angel in charge of giving me these visions is I believe the term is a dumbass.
Mean.
I hope you heard me.
Nothing happens. And it's like the room's almost too still. Like,
While the deception is not appreciated, I understand.
I do apologize for deceiving you.
And I think it would benefit the rest of us to keep our friend's deception going.
Oh, I will not deceive you on that any longer. But while we're here, I'm going to keep up that deception because there's nothing I can do
To bless crops.
to bless crops or to help with this investigation or to ease the soul of anyone.
We will afford you your discretion.
I appreciate it.
Can you do anything?
Other than see visions from dumbasses.
Something that seems like a dumbass.
Yeah.
I run the dumbasses.
Unfortunately, I was not given any other divine blessing besides visions that are not generally helpful.
Huh. That seems like a raw deal.
Yeah.
What is the point of a vision if it doesn't mean anything?
Are they visions of the future or the past or just don't know?
The vivid imaginings of a
They tend to be of the future,
angel?
but inscrutable.
They tend to be of the future, but I cannot discern what they are until they happen.
Have they ever been useful in any way?
No.
Alright.
Well,
So how normal vision works.
You recall that since you've met them, you had a vision of them, but
Yeah.
two of each of them
yeah.
before you guys understood. It just wasn't helpful,
Yeah.
and you had a vision of like the Grim Reapers.
Yeah. Well, I had a vision of Grim Reapers, which turned out to be the Reapers that we saw perform.
Wow.
It seems like it would be much more ominous than it really needed to be.
Right?
Also very
The dream was
incorrect.
vaguely ominous.
The dream was vaguely ominous, and while, yes, we are in an ominous position now, it wasn't during the Reapers. The other vision was doubles of all of us, but was not made clear until we were in the dark place with the spiders, and the doubles were already appearing.
I held your hand for several hours, and I tried to describe the Reaper. Did I do a good job of describing the Reapers?
You did, and I do
Okay,
appreciate
well,
it.
that's something, I suppose.
I also want to make another apology.
Well,
Not only can I see, I can see in the dark very well. Asthma have dark vision.
Well, that's just rude.
I ran into the door. No! We were pushing it right! We were pushing
she
it
did
right!
run into the door.
Could you have helped me with the keys while we were fighting all the spiders?
Possibly.
So
But
that whole fight, when we were potentially going to die, and you wanted to keep your little deception.
to be fair, I couldn't get to you. There were spiders in the way.
Roll perception. Roll a perception check.
Not great. It's a 12.
You hadn't really offered the keys to anyone to be fair. And while she could see that nobody moves as quickly as you do. So
That's fair.
it seems like blocking you off from the giant spiders
That's maybe better.
was maybe a helpful addition. It doesn't mean you're not mad about it.
You've every right to be mad.
Do you not want me to hold your hands now?
Roll an insight check for me.
It's awful nice of you to offer your hand.
Do you like holding people's hands?
Truly, you are.
17.
You, on that question, you hear almost a desperation to keep the usefulness in Octavia very high.
Such a fine example of your
She's
order.
not mad that you lied. She's mad that she had false
Where'd my
feelings of how
pen
useful
go?
she was in the moment. That,
There's also a little bit of a touching, like,
Well, they're not going to let me have my quarterstaff
I
anytime
haven't moved
soon.
at all. Where did my pen go?
And if I'm going to be keeping up this deception,
You didn't go anywhere.
Found it.
oh, you guys could help each other do the deception. You could maybe get an assist on that sometimes.
Yeah.
I could use the assistance.
okay.
You seem to be
Kind of hurts them a little bit.
you're quite the trustworthy type, so they'd believe you.
Truly a shining member of the Order of the Kestrel.
Are you being sarcastic?
I applaud your
Are
sincerity.
you being sarcastic? Are you being sarcastic?
No, of course not.
I think that's
Merely
just,
remarking.
Roll an
That's
insight
Roll
check.
it.
merely
Are
remarking.
you just kind of making fun of her lightly, making fun of her? Is
She's
that
a
what's
good
happening?
person.
No, I'm asking.
You have to be truthful now, 'cause this is Jason.
yeah.
Are you like kind of lightly ribbing her?
Lightly ribbing, but she actually is.
16!
You know the difference between fun teasing and mean teasing. I'll tell you that.
I bet I do.
Ribbing her a little.
You to roll an insight check on the vision as it starts to like move further back in your head, and you get a little distance.
15.
15. You know that there's someone out there, maybe even a group of someone's, who's entertained by copying your face and doing something you don't want to do.
Like me specifically, or us as a whole.
The vision was only you.
Fair.
But like where normally you might assume that like the second they leave town, why? There was a playfulness to the cruelty of this that you find kind of alarming. Like you're not sure why it would serve their interests to look like you do around people who don't know you and do cruel things. But for the first time in your life, you hear, what if I know you? It means I won't even give you a chance. And your consent.
A little bit.
That's what you get with it.
So here's how I see it. Actually, first of all, you're a they, correct?
I?
Okay, good to know. So here's how I see it. Sorry.
A brief interruption, out of game, I transition. I'm gonna use they pretty much if you're good with it. I appreciate we discussed he or they was fine, and narratively sometimes he is a little easier, but I like they, and I want to support they, and we're gonna do they for the most part.
So here's how I see it. There are two kind of big questions that we need to answer. One is, why is someone doing this to us? Because it does seem very, not even vindictive, but it does seem very specific.
Chaotic.
And two, why did they kill him? Because Soraya asked, I mean, he didn't need to die for the robbery to take place.
He
So
could
they-
have just been robbed.
They wanted, I think they wanted us to be framed for a murder, not a robbery. But why, why,
Why would anyone
why,
want
why
to frame
us,
us for murder?
and why him?
Do you not think this plays into the battle that we had as well?
Absolutely, I think that's who did it, but we still need to figure out why. Where's Soraya?
Didn't
she's
she leave
not,
to her house?
Show it to her house.
yeah, with Pebbles. Right now, you guys are like, seem to be the only ones, like, except for Rory around. Rory usually works in a team, but has sent his partner to try and locate Jeffrey.
Rory,
I
do you know what was taken from the vault's not the right word. What is it? Safe.
Safe.
Do you know what was taken from the safe?
Brock wasn't great with the numbers. Some amount of money.
Anything else?
No.
There's nothing else in there, or there was nothing else taken?
There's nothing else in there. This is only
The
the
money.
safe, and it's not a personal safe.
The
It's
money
a-
was
Just
like a
the safe.
like a lock box.
If you guys had left something with him, he would have included it in the safe. But outside of that, a rare, like, jewel that a visitor wants to protect or something, outside of that, it's really just money in the safe, and it's not always that much. He wasn't good at the numbers, so, like, he just locks it. Soraya does all that.
So we need to ask Soraya probably how much it was.
I'm telling you, she might not know exactly.
But
She'll
she
be able to
would-
ballpark it for you.
Yeah. I was trying to come up with a fantasy way to say ballpark, and I couldn't figure it out. Also,
The old marketplace. The old marketplace.
she'll
it
old
for you.
marketplace it for us. Also, do you know if it was a magical safe or a physical one?
Roll an Arcana check.
Woo! Here we go.
Can fix it a physical, not be magical.
I have to roll for
Is
this
it
here.
written Arcana?
No.
Does anyone else have this question? 6.
I'll let. If anyone's proficient in Arcana, you can roll on it.
Oh. Oh wait, I'm not proficient in
It didn't
Arcana.
help me.
How is that?
Huh? Rory goes, it's an iron safe. My understanding is that might mean something. And you guys have no idea what that means in
Okay.
relation to magic.
Okay.
I'd
could say
like to
it's
go look
metal.
at this. I'd like to go look at the safe.
Oh, because is your detect magic still up?
I get 10 minutes. I don't know. I could cast it again.
No. Because
I can-
honestly, it was pushing it last time because Soraya had come in between.
I'll go ahead and,
Yeah.
I'd like to leave the room and go find this safe and look at it.
Rory's gonna be like, I understand how inconvenient this is, but under normal circumstances, I would never ever be here by myself.
Of course.
And I am, because I now understand you to be innocent. You guys have to stay together. You can't really wander around a lot. You can go up to the room all together. You can be down here all together. Jeffrey scares me, and I have to, like...
Then could we all go look at the safe together?
I don't want to go look at the safe.
Rory goes, I don't know where it is. I know it's small. It may not even be. They can't take a safe, right? Like, if you could take it, it's pointless. I don't know. I don't know.
Strong races.
I'm like, I
intentional.
understand your curiosity, but I'm sure she'll be happy to help you there. Like,
Of course.
I think it's maybe not magic. It's maybe that it can't be magic, or it's hard to use magic around it, or something.
You seem to be rather confused about the
I don't
condition
know a lot
of this.
about it. I don't protect
Maybe
the
it doesn't
safe.
work
It's not
here.
my safe. I heard Soraya say it's good that it's an iron safe, you know, in this world.
Just hearsay, passerby, scuttlebutt, that sort of thing.
She was
Buckets,
talking to Jeffrey
scuttle
about
buckets.
security, but like I don't get it. And Jeffrey was like, "Oh, definitely, should be good."
Fair.
He's like, "I don't know. That's not part of my job." I understood that iron was important. I thought you guys might know, but I don't.
I wish I put command in my damn list.
I think we would get in a lot of trouble if we commanded a city guard person.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I feel like that's something that we should wait for the person who owns the safe to like be here.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
He goes back to sharpening. Like at this point, it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
and he's taken out like he had a dagger, and hit a really small like personal knife, like for food.
Like a
and he's
whittling,
just sharpening whatever. And he's like, anybody need anything?
I don't have my
It's
dad.
like I didn't think I wanted you to be dangerous, but like I'm so bored. It's like,
Is a
Our weapons would be a good
what is
start.
what is a dart in D&D?
It's a spike. It's a throwing spike.
yeah, it's still
They look like big
throwing.
nails,
Oh.
usually with a tassel on the end of it to keep control flight through the air.
He's going to be like,
I don't know.
You're gonna throw a dart?
he picks it up,
No, she's
No.
like,
tosses it,
Oh,
No, like I have a bag of them.
looks
Yeah.
at the wall on the other side. and goes, and it flies precisely into the middle of one of the shutters. Just like exactly where he wanted it to be, in the very rim of it, dead center, and he just goes, huh, and he goes and takes it out.
I meant to sharpen them.
That's not really how these work.
You don't sharpen darts.
Like,
How do you make them more pointy?
they're pointy, the metal's so thin that it's like you can't maybe, but there's like a limit. It's like a kind of blunted needles. It's just,
It's the same reason you don't
it's
sharpen
like a
throwing knives and
it's
start
more
to chip the
about
blade.
velocity to
Gotcha.
get us
Yeah,
into
well,
the thing.
I mean, now he has 20 of them, so he can play with them if he
You
wants
can
to.
play darts.
He takes 10. He goes, anybody?
I'll play it.
Sure.
And he's like, he goes back behind the barn. He looks around for a second.
Can't play. That's the joke.
And he takes, where he's like, I heard you're not blind. I don't care. And like, he comes out with one of the triple X labels. And he goes over and he kind of, he closes it behind a shutter so it's sticking out. So now you have an X in the center that's slightly bigger.
Lovely.
And he goes, who wants to go first? He's clearly very excited.
Aw.
You volunteered.
Go for it.
I'll go.
He goes, good luck! Roll a... we're gonna do opposed dex, right? Like,
So you can
and,
use that.
let's say just roll 3 and take the average. Wait, what was his dex?
We gotta do
you,
math.
You didn't volunteer.
Throw this pencil.
Oh no.
So-
Because this is a game that he knows and you don't, I'm gonna let him roll 4 and drop the lowest. I think that's fair.
Right, so I rolled a 1,
Yeah.
a 20,
Yeah.
and a 19.
Dope.
Nice.
So I'm going to assume like the 19-ish is the average.
You don't
Wait,
know how
a
to
1,
calculate the
a
average.
20, and a 19?
Calculate the average.
That would be 10, 29, about 16-ish.
Yep.
Yeah. He got a...
Where even was that?
He wins, but it's really pretty close. You feel like you could get him in round 2, but I don't know if you want to try or if anybody else wants to try. But he's clearly very engaged in this. You see the sincerity of how much he doesn't have a choice in all of this.
Yeah.
And he's just delighted to be doing something fun. You get just a picture of who he is. He's just a chill dude.
Alright, I would like to try because this really should be something I'm good at.
He's like, well, you did pretty well for a blind dude. And he winks at you.
Thank
And
you.
then,
Thank you.
he might be terrible.
Real bad.
Oh no.
His average is 15.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, no, he wins.
Oh, wait. I've not been adding any bonuses for him. And he'd have like a plus 2, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I have a +6.
Yeah, but he's not crazy dexterous. And I'm already letting him roll 4 and drop the lowest one because he's done it before. So, like, I don't want to stack it to where it's, like, would be impossible. You feel like you put in a really strong showing, and he's only been complimentary, and he's just happy to be doing something. And he gives you a couple pointers about how the velocity of these work, and he's like, this isn't your weapon. First of all, still a fun game. Secondly, it's worth it to work with them. Get a little bit more familiar with them, but it takes some time to get how the tails drag, and he's like,
They were given to me when I left the order. I didn't really practice with them.
he's like, they tend to be, like, they're not a crazy useful
No, they're not.
weapon. They are fun to throw. It's occasionally good for, winning a few silver competition, or something to do as you drink. Long nights.
Is it dangerous to do this while drinking?
Yes.
Yes.
He's like
yes.
not
Quite.
in empty taverns.
Fair.
Not
fair.
really.
I cast something. Yes, it is.
He's like, it's dangerous for us to. I mean, we have sharp things everywhere. Like, there's a certain level of sharp that you just argue that you shouldn't be around anything sharp. These are quite limited in how much damage they can cause if they don't hit you in the face, in your eyeball or something like.
And to be fair, you shouldn't be. No one should be near where they're throwing the darts, in the direction they're throwing the darts.
He's like,
Unless
that's a
you're
good
very
point.
much trying
Most of
to.
us have gotten like stuck with one and not seriously injured, and learned the hard way to watch.
To not walk there.
Yeah, he's like, experienced ones, they clear that whole side of the tavern to do like a formal thing, so there's not people. He's like, there's a whole thing to it. You'll see it around, maybe. I don't know how common it is. We get very bored. There's so many soldiers now.
Can I ask a question that might be something I might have meant to ask a long time ago?
He goes, I think we're way past very formal.
Well, it's actually more to my friends. Does anyone have any enemies that would want to do this to you?
No.
I mean, not that I know of.
But
I feel like it's pretty clear that must be the case.
But
I
you'll
don't
take
know
me.
anyone.
By all technicality, my angel could do it because I'm making fun of him the whole time. But
What about a devil of some kind?
nah, it's not really how it works.
You know that they do fight, but you've never been targeted. Like, you don't feel like you're doing enough to have for them to have noticed you. You haven't seen anything like powerful come out of that side yet. So,
Or rather, to be fair, I've been keeping such a low profile. It'd be very impressive if any kind of demonic entity is even latched onto me to torture me of any kind.
Did we just get
enemies,
picked out of a hat?
you have a hard time
I mean, we
picturing
do
your
sometimes.
family doing it, even though they didn't always
Well,
get along. But this is so
no, some
far
of-
beyond.
Yeah, some of my brothers and sisters might, but not me. I'm highly revered where I come from.
And most of their stuff was not appropriate, but is pretty far from framing you for murder. They made fun of you. They they've punched you. That you've gotten into brawls, whatever. And they kind of ostracized you some, but they're not like, there'd be a lot of effort for them.
Yeah. I don't think they would go to such lengths. And I have no enemies. Everyone loves me.
Well, I can't say much. I just met you.
Well, then you'll soon
Very
be
good.
well.
You seem like a nice fellow.
Thank you.
I can't get away from this question. Who would do this to us? Why?
What benefit would someone have for preventing you from seeing your mentor? Because there is still that issue to deal with.
Vea has many enemies. I mean,
Then some.
we're here to help. But those who want, the continent to burn and to be disparate could want me not to see
Perhaps.
the mentor.
It's your enemies we should be concerned with, because someone with your appearance would probably be able to get very close to your mentor, I suppose.
Is Octavia being forthright right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't think she has any personal enemies.
Right. The Kalishtar thing, they are hunted. They are crazy rare. They're powerful. And you were very excited to meet one, although you had feelings about the mentor situation. You were excited. You wanted to know, and you'd been kind of running over how and when and after how long it would be appropriate to ask them the questions. You've heard they're telepathic. You've heard they're psychic.
Yep.
You've heard they can control other people. You've heard they can all look like different everything. You've heard they can imbue others with telepathy. You don't know. There aren't very many left.
Would I know who would know that I was meeting her?
You would know that there are very few people that would know that. You would know that, like...
And there's not a part of the order that's in town that I reported to, correct?
There is not a part of it. You know that your monastery is friendly with the very government because you're acting as ambassador somewhat. But you also know that it didn't, like, afford you instant clearance to stuff. You didn't get to flash your robes and get out of this, like... So, you feel like this had to be something that is playing out chaotically.
Gotcha.
But there's no way this was just something last minute that someone decided to do for fun. And roll a insight check.
24.
This 100% has to do with the Kalishtar thing. Ember is in danger. And with that roll, as you think about, like, why rock, you're like, why rock, why rock, why rock, and you can't get away from the feeling that it's because it would take him a long time to die, and it would confuse the timeline. That it would muddy you guys up. And you recall that the changeling had said he was not allowed to kill you. Something is happening that is bigger than Ember, bigger than you, and it's a chaotic play out of something very intentional.
That's some insight.
And all of this, like, all of a sudden, like, as you're asking them questions, your brain disconnects from the questions you've had about your own life and your own what you're doing here and all of that. And with that disconnect, all of a sudden things pull into focus as other options get eliminated. It's a good roll.
It's about me. It's not about me. My mentor, the woman, the Kalishtar that I'm here to see.
Roll history checks. So I don't know if you said Kalishtar out loud, but if you
Not
have,
four.
it's been rushed.
I am again the dumb.
History? 12.
3.
11.
You all have heard of Kalishtar. There's like a throwaway line in your education. It's like very little is known about this race. Something about mines.
I was here to meet her. She was supposed to be my mentor. Everything that I was here to do was to be under her, so that's what it's about. I don't think we can solve this here.
We need to get out of here.
Could that be why your wind told us to leave?
Go, but yes, probably.
Same diff.
I would assume that the meaning of go would be that we need to go, but where would we be going?
Everybody roll perception real quick.
Oh, that is not the right dice.
I can't remember if I told you guys this.
16.
24.
Perception?
Mm-hmm.
21.
16.
Strassus is to the southeast of here. The shutters on the southern and eastern fronts, and only those shutters had opened. The others had not moved. And it occurs to you that that doesn't make sense. When there's south and east windows, that ones that flies open, the other ones do not move.
We need to leave quickly.
There had been no urgency to the word. It was more a clarity thing. And it was almost playful in how it was delivered.
I need my weapons.
We need to leave as soon as we can.
Where he's just got this, like, he's kind of like this anxiety about him where he's like, I don't know. He's like I told you, the absolute latest. He's like, and I have no question, you'll be released this evening. It just may be too late to leave town for you. I don't know.
It has to be today. We have to leave today. Is there anything else we can do?
He's like, I'm open to suggestions. I sent my partner. He's like, Soraya apparently is also out. I don't know.
Where
Jeffrey's never more than 5 miles from town.
Jeff.
Uh,
Does anyone else know how to do Jeff's job?
It's like, his reaction is incredulity. Like, you know that they've recruited a lot of soldiers, and that Bayer's actually recruited soldiers within Lacros. But it's like, there's this feel that, like, I barely know how to do my job. And you start to realize, like, the uniforms you've seen, like, there's a lot of, like, things that don't quite fit. There's a lot of, like, not uniformity to the weapons. And you start to realize the scale of what Bayer has funded, but how thin they're spread as far as expertise. And he was like, we're lucky to have Jeffrey, actually. Like, I know it doesn't seem like it. He's like, and I say never. He has gone up to, like, 5 miles to the small villages on either side. He's like, we didn't know there was this urgency. And frankly, the case against you was pretty firm. I'm open to suggestions, but I can't think of any other way to help.
Where are our weapons?
Jeffrey has a room where he's never lost accountability for anything. But, like, he also is not... He said he needs to pick somebody to train to do his stuff because... I don't know, something about
Then
next
take
one
us
up,
there.
duplicity.
But
I don't know anything yet. Nobody does.
Can I open the door to outside without you needing to follow me?
No, you can open it.
I can open it?
You can open it.
No,
I have to be here.
Oh, yeah. I go and I open the front door to the tavern. I don't leave, but I just open the door.
Yeah.
Do I see anybody?
Like, he's on guard.
Yeah.
At this point, like, you guys have been effing around, things have happened, whatever. It's about 4, and you know that things will pick up soon. But it's that dead time after school, before whatever, in a very small town. You see Gary across the way, and he kind of...
Hi there!
And then he remembers that he doesn't like all your questions, and he skirts away. He goes, hi, anyway, yes, I can help you with that. And
Do
you're
I
like,
see anybody else?
it's like that, you see tumbleweeds. Like...
Is there anybody in boots and suits that Gary is visibly talking to?
Gary, like, he had to be on a chair for you to see him, because the windows are at normal height, and he's a gnome.
Fair.
You question if there's somebody in the shop, as it seemed very pantomimed, but you know that, like, someone who is not you had asked a bunch of questions with your face.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know anything that's happened in the past few hours.
So he doesn't want to even
He's
be a part
pretty
of
sure
this.
you guys did it. You were asking about it. You were
There's
asking.
just
It's
nobody.
just a hard pass.
There's just nobody outside.
There's nobody outside.
Octavia, do you require us to gain attention to this area?
Yes. I have
I go to the door.
I have a quick question.
Oh no! Hold on. Hold on to him, not you.
Is this, like, right now urgent? Because the voice I heard didn't sound like, go now, like immediately. Can we wait for Jeffrey?
Someone imitated us to commit a murder to get to the person that I'm supposed to help.
That's true.
Rory goes, you guys could sleep.
Now?
I don't know. You need to leave. Like, I get it. I don't know what to do. That's the only thing I can offer to you. Is that you guys could rest. He's like, I will tell you. And he looks outside and he's like, the night watch starts at 7. That's really the longest before someone can take action. I don't know what you want to do, but at 7 o'clock, the situation definitely changes if it hasn't before then.
So it's 4 now. We have 3 hours before.
Yeah, 3 hours. He's like, I don't know. I'm giving you everything I have. I don't know.
I walk to the door and 20 foot. Can I see up? Can I see up into the air?
Can you what?
Can I see towards the sky?
Yeah.
I cast light, red, 20 feet up in the air.
You have to cast light on something. On an object.
Top of the building?
What's the highest point of the building? Because it should be within 20 feet.
Well, you wouldn't be
Like
able to
the
see
Eve?
on top of the tavern that you're...
I'm gonna walk out there and do it.
Rory's like, whoa!
And then
Roll
I'll
a perception check for me.
that's gonna be an 11. Not my best roll.
They're darts. You could probably cast light on a dart and put it somewhere. And
How's your throwing arm?
Let's see.
This should
Why
be
the-
interesting.
Cantrip, cast light on the dart.
Roll me an acrobatics check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
25.
You look around.
We just
there's
made a flare.
Steeple on top of
Ugh!
boots and suits. And you're a little salty right now. And you don't even think about it. You take back your arm and all the principles that Rory taught you, and you throw it, and it hits the very highest point.
That'll be lit for an hour.
And Rory's like, nice. And he looks at you and he goes, get back inside, please.
I walk back inside.
And you notice that you threw it hard enough that it kind of spins the steeple around. It's like one of those things.
Like a
rooster
vein.
This thing. Yeah.
Weather vane.
And so it's kind of spinning, so it's almost like a little siren, at least for a minute. And Rory's like, I think that there's got to be questions about it, right?
No, they'd have to come here to get them answered.
Well, yeah, that's what you were doing, right?
Yeah.
Rory like sits there and he looks at the steeple. He looks at you. I'm gonna see. He's gonna try and throw one up there. He's gonna see how he does.
It's my dot, but whatever.
Rory misses the whole vein. And he's like, you didn't need that dart, did you?
I have 18 more, I guess.
He's like, I have 18 of yours that you didn't care about. He's got a handful. You're like, okay. He's like, oh, we'll get it later. And you feel like it might take a few minutes, but you feel like you've had an effect. You feel the urge to yell at Gary, but you don't think you could hear it inside. To be like, hey, go look at that!
I think this is gonna help.
And
Oh, I didn't have 20, I had 10, so now I have 8.
Do we see people coming out like, what the hell is that?
Rory goes, that halfling education and the public education stops in the next few minutes. The children return home from dinner, like the main shifts of the mind goes. He's like, within the next hour things will pick up, and you guys can sit at a table and look at that siren if you want. Like, you'll be able to see if people are...
Observe the street.
I'm gonna stand at the door, just stand there, and if I see anybody come by, I'm just gonna say 3 gold to whoever finds Jeffrey.
Rory's gonna be like, I really shouldn't have let you open the door. Like,
She's
if
just showing
Jeffrey
up
comes
like-
back and you're here, and I'm not interfering with that, he's like,
Stand at the... Okay.
it's like the windows can open.
Yeah, that.
Like,
I do that instead.
it's just like, I'm really pushing everything I can do without getting fired, and I really need this job.
Why don't we sit at a table near the window?
That's a good idea.
He's like, you can move the tables. You guys can sit pretty much right next to them.
Yeah, if the windows are open, yeah, I'll just 3 gold to whoever finds Jeffrey.
Insert table dragon noise.
Yeah.
Soon,
Do we have
you see
3
a group
gold
of
between us?
like 3 or 4
We will when
halfling
we get
children.
That's true.
Yeah.
In between 2 and 7, you assume.
Yeah.
Having recently been made
I
aware
don't
that
know.
you're not sure. And they're kind of talking, and you see Ryan among them. You don't know why he was out early, like if she brought him, if he had a lunch break, if he hadn't been to school. You don't know, but
Yeah.
he's among them, and he kind of looks at you and waves. And he kind of looks down, and they keep walking. Do you yell?
Not the kids, just the adults. Not the kids that I think are younger than like 10, for sure. I don't want them to wander off.
Roll an insight.
Now you said anybody that can find him,
7.
not just giving away money.
These kids probably have no idea who Jeffrey
Yeah,
is.
yeah. 3 gold to whoever finds Jeffrey.
And we
So,
Hope he's not too
and
upset about that.
he goes, Rory's like, the other school lets out in the next few minutes. And like the street starts to be intermittent. And people seem excited by the prospect of 3 gold. And they kind of scuttle off, but like you don't know how far out of their way they're going.
Yeah,
It's a decent village and nobody seems.
yeah. Just, $20 to
It's
whoever.
it's
Yeah,
closer to 50.
yeah. 50
Like,
bucks to whoever finds
it's
this teacher.
good.
Yeah.
It's good. And for the next like close to an hour this happens, you feel that like light is going to dim soon, but like it's still up, and that it's closer to 5 than 4. Soraya comes in the back door, and she comes in, she's like, we finally found someone who had seen him and knew where he was going. He's like, and it's like, it's halfway, but oh crap, I don't know the other town's name. Hang on. See if it's exactly where I thought it was, because otherwise, like, nope.
Do you guys know the names of towns around
Huh?
here?
No,
Oh, okay.
I assume it's going to be called Foot.
Why would you think that?
I'm not sure. Foot Road. I still need to figure out why it's called Foot Road. It seems a little weird.
I mean,
You guys have yet to inquire, though.
Yeah, I know.
He said he was going to head to Aruna Costa, but, and Aruna Costa is a larger town about 4 miles from here. And he's like, but they could, it's like David should be able to catch him before he gets there. And he looks at the sign and he's like, he should have already caught him. They should be on their way back. And, did any of you speak Dwarvish?
Oh
Yes.
wait, yes.
Yes.
Aruna Costa is a Dwarvish name that means blessed foot.
Called it.
And you guys have all felt at one time or another that the dwarves believe that they have the answer for how things work. And they're very good at infrastructures. They're very good at building. Like, culturally, it is a huge significance. Stonemasons, carpenters, whatever.
everyone's name is Smith.
Yeah, like, for real, there's like road and wood and stone breaker is very dwarven, like, and you guys have all felt the impact of that, in addition to which they live a long time and they're very sturdy. So they're the ones who have it closest to figured out since the cleansing. But they also tend to have a cultural attitude about it. And you realize that, like, this city has a weird vibe of a city that was almost important. and you know that there's crossroads that go through. It just kind of makes you wonder why they both have feet names.
Okay.
But anyway, he's like, that. I mean, they should be. If he didn't catch him before he went, they will be hard. But he should have caught right. And Soray's like, I told him to hurry. You know. Yeah, and Sarai goes back behind the bar. She pours something different. And she takes them, puts them on a tray. You haven't really seen her handle things like this. You know that I owned the bar and I waited here for a long time? Like, she's got that vibe. She's very fluid, very graceful, knows exactly where everything is, and she pours 5 of something, and then she looks at Rory and pours another one. She comes over, and she's like, I'm not asking. She takes one, and she downs it. Similar to a shot, it's about 3 ounces, and you notice that there's not... It's like a little Mary Poppins shot, kind of. Like, it looks different for each of you.
Huh.
But Rory's like, ooh! And he grabs his and he
Yeah,
downs it.
I pick it up and I go, Anuhiyaho.
I know Elvish.
Oh,
Bless
no?
I
you.
know Elvish.
It was, yeah, pretty much like, cheers, L'chaim, to life.
Take mine.
And Soraya goes, oh wait! And pours herself another one, goes and throws it back.
Where's mine? Thank you.
And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. Hang on.
At the where's mine, just one like.
She got a natural 20. She's like, ha! And she looks at Rory, and Rory has this look on his face, and she's like, I only cared about the one thing, if you were lying about that. And she puts her glass to yours, like, she got a nat 20. She's on to you, 100%.
That's the only thing.
And she's like, we all have our secrets, and most of them I respect, you know? Like, live your life. And she throws back a shot.
Yep.
And she seems like lighter. It feels like she has some purpose. And she goes, okay. And it tastes mildly alcoholic. It tastes like one of those very good cover-ups. Relatively strong, like pineapple juice kind of feel. That, like, it's a little stronger than it tastes, but it's not crazy. And she's like, wait. And she goes, and she pours one, and she's like, I don't know how you do this solemnly, but here's to killing the assholes that put all of us here. And she kind of like, she gets a little misty, and she shakes it off. And then she drinks it, and she's like, okay. She looks at it, she's like, what the hell is that on top of Gary's face? And you guys are like,
Our friend Octavia threw a dart up there.
He cast light on it.
she's like, have you not seen it's the one, most of the stuff I don't care about.
Oh.
And she's
It,
like,
it was just instinct. Like,
Rory
He
hands her
started
4
it.
darts, and she turns around and throws one of the triple X things. And you feel like she's probably a lot of fun. That was hers.
Probably do it again. It's a
Dead
camp.
center in the middle
Yeah.
X. And she looked at Rory and she winked and she's like, these people probably thought you were good. And he's
Wait,
like,
how
oh,
often can I can
know-
cast light at will, right?
you can, but once you cast a new one, the old one goes away.
Dang. Alternating colors.
Yeah, I think you have to touch it.
well, if he's going to do alternating colored, if he could put 2 simultaneously, he'd be fine.
Yeah, I can't.
It might not hurt to change up the color, though, because you could at least spin it around again.
more time.
Oh, I can cast light. I have a cantrip.
Mine dots!
And you can see the dark. Rory's like, you said you don't use them! They're not.
So the 2 of us could cast light on 2 darts.
Let's not take all of her darts away. I feel like she'll get upset. Can't blame her for that.
Soraya,
I have caltrops.
Soraya looks at you guys and kind of picks up on it, and then she
Picks up on
looks
what,
at
that
you.
we're
She takes
dumbasses?
something out of her belt. She comes over and gives you a silver piece and is like, "Buy a new set." Darts are cheap,
Yeah, this is a nail.
and you can get them everywhere.
It's a big ass nail, basically.
We are in the middle of nowhere. I did not
She's
expect to
like-
find. Sorry. Well, do you have a weapons shop of any kind?
Not really. Did you know how to use these today?
Yes.
Rory's like,
Yes.
you should
Buy new
look
darts.
at throwing stars or even caltrop. Like, you can use darts, but there is a spit. Like, what you need, like, not to try and talk you into anything, is a practice one right now that could be useful.
Okay,
But
fine.
really not yet.
Throw my dots. I don't care.
And
Okay.
he gives you the silver, and he's like, "We're not trying to
No, no,
cheat
no,
you
no.
out of anything."
No. You take it.
Friend, red, blue.
Sorry.
I'll cast a light on the next one and make it blue.
I cast light on the next one and make it red.
Soraya casts a third light that is yellow. She's like, "This is fun. What is this for?"
I throw all
She
three
doesn't
of them.
hand the
Oh, okay,
yellow one to
yeah.
you.
I'll
She
throw the other
watches
two.
you. Make me two acrobatics check.
Wait, so you do one at a time
So
there?
red one. Acrobatics 12.
Probably not.
It's a stationary target.
good.
I mean,
What's the other one? You have to roll two.
So much worse. 8.
Okay, you hit. They're not in the center,
Yeah.
but you can hit.
Well, I'm
It's
throwing
not-
them up towards the weather vane thing.
Right, like they're
Okay.
not in the center. It's got like the arrow
Yeah.
or whatever. One of them sticks in the very top of the roof, and the other one does stick in the weather vane.
Okay.
And Soraya sits there for a second. She's like, and she hurls the yellow one, and she hits also not in the dead center, but she hits it. So now it is a siren effect, and in addition, but it's red and yellow. In addition to that, there's a blue one.
that's going to
sticking
raise
out
some
the roof.
questions.
She's like, yeah, sometimes I don't feel like people are as curious as I would think, though. And her and Rory split up the remaining 6 darts to 3, and they do another round. You guys are just like, you're like, it's starting to feel like forever.
Why has no one come to investigate that?
But really, that last part, it's 5:15 maybe. It's been an hour since things started to pick up. And, you guys, they're really fun to watch. Like, he's doing a very conscious job to try and distract her. And she is a little bit unburdened, not with grief, but with
The stress of
action,
having
what
us
it looks
here.
like next, and having to be surrounded by people she fully took away the love of her life and all that. There's a little relief. There's no healing yet, but it's not as heavy. And she's kind of compartmentalized it for the moment. And so they're talking. She's not like laughing, but she smiles a little here and there. And you guys are all distracted by him just making fun of her and like how she's always been bad at throwing and how and somebody says women shouldn't throw darts and she's like, you know who should throw darts? Soldiers. Where did you and like it's clear that like they're very comfortable with each other and you guys get distracted by the women comment and then all of a sudden the front door bursts open.
Oh no!
And you see,
Octavia immediately like,
and through the door bursts a very angry Jeffrey. And as he comes in, like, he goes, you hear talking behind him, and David's following him, keeping up as best as he can. And he's like, if they'd escaped, I would have told you. Of course I would have told you. They didn't. They were here. And Jeffrey's like, if they were here, then how the heck? And he sees you all, and he's like, and his jaw kind of drops open in shock. And David's like, and Rory like hides his darts behind his back. And Jeffrey's like, "You're here," and that's where we're gonna leave off.
You said
Oh,
I know, right? Get used to this. I love this. I don't know where they're gonna end up, but they're gonna be mad the session's ending every time. But that is all for this week. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will see you. For now, we're still every other week. That may change. And you know, as we all love to say and say with enthusiasm, keep on
Keep on
nerding.
And yeah.
Now!